much for joining us. It's Tuesday, April 4th. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm here with Kevin Van Eck at the Goose Island office. We are wrapping up Q1. We are making our way into April, quarter 2 of 2023. We've got a great topic for you this morning. So make sure to grab your cup of coffee, tea, power smoothie, lemon water, whatever it may be. And let's jump into the next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
That's right. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We've got a topic about controlling your outcome for 2023. As Amy said, we're done with Q1. We're moving into Q2. There's still plenty of time left in the year. Now, there's certain things we can control, certain things we can't. We can't control inventory, mortgage rates. A lot of things are outside of our control. So we're going to talk today through 4 things we can control where it will lead to success by the end of 2023 if you do all of the right things.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to shake off the nerves. We've gotten through the first quarter. I know I've talked to a lot of you out there, and we are starting to see signs of inventory in a lot of our markets. And I think we're going to continue to, but it's still going to be a challenge. We've got a lot of buyers out there that are still wanting to take advantage of the market. But it's time for you to focus on what you can control for next year. And I've been meeting with a lot of agents, and one of the questions I'm asking them as it relates to prospecting is, how are we doing in picking up the phone? The answer isn't always so great. And I get it. Picking up the phone is not always the easiest thing to do. A lot of times we're uncomfortable with what to say. What if we catch this person live? We get a little bit nervous. And I think the thing we get most nervous for is rejection, or them feeling like, we're interrupting them at a bad time or an inconvenient time for them. But I'm telling you right now, the fastest way for you to see success is for you to figure out how to pick up the phone. And so for a lot of people, the struggle is, I can maybe make the phone call, but I don't always know what to say. So here's the thing. If you don't know what to say, figure it out. And I'm also going to tell you that picking up the phone doesn't mean you have to start or even talk about real estate. This isn't about simply getting to that, hey, know anybody who's thinking about buying or selling? This is about connecting with your people, deepening the relationship, reminding them who you are and what you do. And that doesn't mean you have to start with a real estate conversation. And one of the things that I'm going to say, and I've said it a few times, I think Kevin has heard it, but use social media as your friend. When you don't know what to say or how to connect or engage with people, the beauty of being in 2023 is that everybody's putting it on Facebook. You've probably seen that I went to Hilton Head for spring break. That's on my Facebook, right? So find out what you can be talking to people about. Pick up the phone, have a conversation, use social media as a way to do it. But I'm going to tell you, many of us want to go the long way around. We want to send a text. Maybe we'll send an email. Maybe we'll put a like or some sort of comment on Facebook or Instagram. That is going to take a lot longer to create a result for you. So if you are looking me in the eye right now and thinking, I need more business, the fastest way to get to it is to pick up the phone. And if it's about not knowing what's going on in the market, educate yourself. Figure out what's going on locally, have some great points to talk about, and then get comfortable, pick up the phone, use Mel Robbins' 5-second rule if you need to, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and dial. But if you want to create results right now, because 50 phone conversations will lead to 1 transaction. So 50 phone conversations. Start picking up that phone, because if you want more transactions in 2023, it's the fastest way to get there.
I love that. Yeah, the phone, we often forget about it. It doesn't mean that text and email doesn't work, but you have to add in the phone, right? And I think sometimes we're our own roadblock. We make up excuses for the people we're calling. We say, they don't want phone calls. Yep. You don't know if they want phone calls or not. Call them. All right, number 2. Let's go to time blocking. I know, eye rolls. Time blocking, though, let's get serious, because right now, especially if you are busy, time blocking is important, because you need to find the time to continue to grow and fill your pipeline. If you're not busy, time blocking is super important, because if you're not time blocking, then what are you doing throughout your day? It's very easy to get sucked into social media and all these things. So there's 3 things to time block. 2 of them you can control. The third you need to make space for and adjust with. So the first is prospecting. That's filling your pipeline. You have to time block for it. Here's the thing, if it's not on your calendar or it's not scheduled, you're not going to do it. It's much easier to procrastinate. It's much easier to just skip it, and then the end of the week comes and you realize you didn't do anything. So you have to put in time for prospecting. That includes the phone calls that Amy's talking about, where you're going to go through your A's and B's or certain people within your database you haven't reached out to in a period of time. You need to reach out. So that is when you are prospecting, and it can also be dinners and lunches and breakfasts and coffees and drinks too. Yep. And then the other appointments you need to schedule, appointments, those are the ones you can't control. Those are the ones where it is truly business, where you're focused on listing presentations, where you're focused on buyer tours. Can't control those, you have to be flexible. So if you have your prospecting scheduled, then you're able to adjust if you do have appointments that come up. You just move it in your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, then you're not going to reschedule it because you have nothing to reschedule. And then the last piece of the time blocking is really focused on growth. And not growth in business, it'll lead to it, but growth in terms of what you know and your knowledge. So it's skill sharpening. It's focused on learning more, developing skills, role playing, learning new dialogues, learning new technology, learning how to improve yourself to raise the bar so that consumers are more likely to be attracted to you and you are differentiating yourself in the market. So time blocking, 3 things: prospecting, the appointments that are going to come up, and then of course skill sharpening to make sure you are always growing professionally.
I love it, and sometimes when we are so busy in such a fast market, what do so many agents tell us? I don't have time to take classes.
Right.
I don't have time to enhance my listing presentation. So, in this market, the benefit is that you may have that time so that when the opportunities do come, you're even that much better. So I love that point. All right, I'm going to tell you about number 3, and that is to not be passive. The last couple of years, many of us were very fortunate to have a lot of businesses coming at us. So much so that we couldn't even keep up. We couldn't even see straight. That was great. And for many of us, we said it wasn't so great, right? We never always appreciate what we do have in the moment. But the market has shifted. Things are changing now. And so instead of waiting for things to happen to us and opportunities to come our way, we have to change our mindset and think about going after the market, okay? Because if you're sitting to wait for the market to come to you, it may come eventually, but it may not come in 2023 the way that you want it to.
Right.
So you've got to go after it. And so, again, it's like things like making those phone calls, but if it's also you just getting a larger network, now's the time to do it. Figure out, where can you be part of a networking group? If you've got free time, we always talk about not having the free time, and then when we do, we panic or we don't do the things we know we should. So think about a networking group. Can you figure out how to join one in your community? Can you get more involved in your local boards or organizations now that you've got time? And maybe you are not getting the invitations to go and do things. What can you create? Is there an opportunity for you to do a client appreciation party? They don't have to be expensive. You can do them really inexpensively, but figure out, how can I get people in front of me? We talk a lot about Ninja, and one of the greatest successes for most agents is when they are in flow, right? That is when they're in the mix of their people. And if you're feeling slow and you're sitting at home and you're panicking, you've got to change that mindset. You can't sit and wait for things to open up and come to you, because it may not be on the time frame that you need it to be. So figure out, how can I go after the market? There's things that we cannot control, but our mindset and our actions, we've been talking about this all year long, those are things that you can actually take control over and make sure that they are impacting your success for this year. So go after that market right now, because I'm telling you, there are lots of opportunities out there and they're just waiting for you to go after them.
For sure. That reminds me of the conversation we had about making your own headlines.
Yep.
It's the same idea. You have to do something, create your own headlines.
Yep.
So that brings us to number 4. There is no easy button, right?
Darn it.
Darn it. I know. I wish there was. Some of us like to work smart, not hard, but you're going to have to work hard. Here's the reality behind it, is that when it comes to work-life balance, I recently saw an interview where somebody was talking about how none of the people that we view as successful in the traditional way, so the people that are in the headlines, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, whether you like them or not, the people that we view as successful, they didn't have work-life balance. There's going to be periods of time. And if you look at the top producers in your market, do you think they had work-life balance or had it easy? No, they had to put in the time. So everything that Amy and I are talking about here in terms of making the calls, in terms of taking control over what you're doing in your actions, you have to do it. There's no shortcut. In fact, we know a significant number of agents who have tried to take shortcuts, and you know what? They're no longer with us. They don't have licenses any longer. There is no shortcut. You have to put in the time, energy, effort, and grit to get back up when things don't go your way.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking with Kevin about a book that I'm listening to, because we know that Amy doesn't always read, on Audible, but it's called The Mountain Is You. And I'm going to tell you, the mountain is you. If there are roadblocks or there are things that seem overwhelming, it all starts with us. And it's a great book if you want to read it or listen to it, but it just talks about how we self-sabotage, and there are things that we do that are in our own way. Some of them are things that, you know, came from our childhood and all that good stuff that builds up with us year over year. But, you know, as you're thinking about your success in 2023, it's all up to you. You can make it happen. And I know sometimes it can feel overwhelming. So if nothing else, after listening to us today, I would say pick one thing. One habit, one little thing that you are going to adjust this week. Start it today, April 4th, and start seeing how tiny little changes will make an impact in your success in 2023. Because you've got this. You can definitely do it this year. So hope you enjoyed some of our tips from this morning.
Yep.
Make it a great Tuesday. We will look forward to seeing you next week. But until then, remember, Kevin.
You got this.
That's right. You do.
You got
Believe
this.
it.